talk Bihar this week. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of One Take. And as I'm going to set to travel to the state to cover the Bihar elections, my focus will of course be on Tejashwi Yadav. The reason is that he's young, he's also a contender and a challenger, and definitely in stark contrast to the Congress party, a very, very astute politician. He has the works in his favor. But does he? Because there are certain key developments which are now taking place and have already taken place, which could have an impact on the fortunes of the RJD, but more importantly, on Tejashwi Yadav. I remember Tejashwi gave a very firebrand speech on the floor of the House when suddenly Nitish Kumar switched sides and went and joined hands with the BJP. He called him Paltu Chacha. He said that many of the efforts which I wanted to make and the dreams which I wanted to be completed were not, because Nitish Kumar never stood by the side. That could have a resonance on a large number of young people and an aspirational Bihar. But more than that, it also raises a question is that will the aspirational Bihari look at the RJD and Tejashwi Yadav as an alternative and a workable option? Even as we speak and record this episode, news had already come in of courts framing charges against Lalu Prasad Yadav, putting the entire Yadav clan in a dock as far as the IRCTC case is concerned, or land for jobs. Remember, one of the key promises made by Tejashwi Yadav is that har ghar mein hogi naukri, a job in every house.
सरकार बनते ही 20 दिनों के अंदर ये अधिनियम बनाया जाएगा और 20 महीने में ऐसा कोई बिहार का घर नहीं बचेगा जिसके पास सरकारी नौकरी नहीं होगी.
Now, in a state like Bihar, where many of the young people have decided to opt out and leave the state and work in other parts of the country because they want jobs, this could actually become a clarion cry to bring them together. But now with this kind of a case which is surfaced, trial, day-to-day trial, where every day there could come out fresh revelations, it has every potential of putting Tejashwi Yadav on a back foot. This question certainly will be asked by his political opponents is that what kind of a job are you promising to the people of Bihar because you are soaked in corruption?
ऐसे घोषणाओं से लॉलीपॉप देने से बिहार के लोगों पे कोई असर नहीं है. 2025 में आने वाले चुनाव में तेजस्वी जी का सुपड़ा साफ हो जाएगा.
At a time when the BJP wants to project itself as an alternative which is going to take Bihar ahead, they are also going to put forward this narrative that Rahul Gandhi plus Tejashwi Yadav are going back to the old days of Bihar. It will be return of the Jungle Raj and the dark days of Bihar as well. So will this scam, the job and land scam, actually boomerang on Tejashwi Yadav? Will it pour water over the possibility of him becoming an icon or a beacon of hope as far as the young Biharis are concerned? Will someone who has been educated in the national capital of Delhi, who has studied here, who speaks excellent English and Hindi, who speaks the kind of language which many young Biharis would love to hear, can he really emerge as an alternative and a hope for them? When I travel there, I guess I'm going to get some more voices and genuine ones from the ground. But there's another worry really for Tejashwi Yadav. Could Raghupur, his constituency, emerge as the Amethi as it was for Rahul Gandhi? And remember, Prashant Kishor has already gone on record to make this point that there is going to be another Amethi in Bihar, and that is going to be Tejashwi Yadav's constituency.
खाली एक चर्चा चल रही है कि प्रशांत किशोर जन सुराज वहां लड़ने आ रहा है तो तेजस्वी यादव दूसरी सीट खोज रहे हैं. उनका भी हालत वही होगा जो राहुल गांधी का अमेठी में हुआ.
The biggest blow any politician who has sustained a growth of strong base in the constituency is if they lose there. I don't think Rahul Gandhi has yet managed to recover from the loss he faced in Amethi. I remember I was at that press conference at the Congress headquarters in the national capital when the news came in of the Congress not just losing the Lok Sabha elections, but he walked in accompanied by his sister Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. While he occupied center stage at the press conference, she stood behind him, very grim face, almost teary-eyed, because she knew what was losing from Amethi meant like, and that too to someone like Smriti Irani. They've come back to Amethi, but Rahul Gandhi never came back to fight. And this is something which is always pointed at him. Remember Arvind Kejriwal? He not only lost the Delhi elections, but he also lost his constituency over here. That was another setback. I still won't forget that face of Sheila Dikshit, where she not only lost the Delhi elections to Arvind Kejriwal, but she also lost from her constituency. It is these blows which one finds it very difficult for any politician to recover. That's the ultimate humiliation. And that is the humiliation which Prashant Kishor wants to give to Tejashwi Yadav. So will the Bihar elections be a do or die for Tejashwi Yadav? One, is it actually going to bring back the narrative of the dark jungle Raj days of the RJD? Will it be easy for Tejashwi Yadav to give a forward-looking narrative for the Mahagathbandhan and the RJD? And his promise of giving jobs to everyone, will water be poured over it with a day-to-day trial as far as the RCTC scam is concerned? But more than that, with Prashant Kishor making it very clear that the ultimate humiliation will be the loss of Tejashwi Yadav from his constituency, will that also mean the end of the Yadav politics or grip of Bihar? We've seen that powerful politicians like Mayawati today have almost nowhere in their say as far as the Assembly or Lok Sabha elections are concerned. Of course, she's trying to bounce back, but alternatives have already begun to be developed. We see a similar case for the Aam Aadmi Party as far as Delhi politics goes. Could that have an impact on the Punjab politics? We're seeing the same kind of a situation being faced by the Congress party in Uttar Pradesh, in Amethi and Raebareli, of course, where Rahul Gandhi is now a member of parliament from. I think it's the loss of Amethi which triggered off a debate and in a sense forced Rahul Gandhi to bend to the advice of his advisors that you cannot give up on the family bastions. Is that going to be the case as far as Tejashwi Yadav goes? In case Tejashwi Yadav loses, PK wins, in terms of the promise that he's made to the people of Bihar, will that be the end of the Yadav Raj of Bihar? Because the fact remains is that there may be Nitish Kumar, there may be BJP, but the grip of the Yadav vote in the hands of the RJD, that so far doesn't seem to have been shaken. The pictures of Lalu Prasad Yadav being on a wheelchair while going to court is something which the RJD is bound to milk. And therefore, the ultimate blow to the months and years of Yadav politics, the very powerful Lalu Prasad Yadav factor, that is something which could be shaken. But more importantly, Lalu Yadav, who seems to have taken a step back as far as active politics goes because of multiple reasons, will Putra Moh force him to come and occupy center stage in the politics of Mahagathbandhan? Will the announcement of Tejashwi Yadav as a CM face or his projection of it as a CM face of the Mahagathbandhan be good enough? What's the point if he's projected as a CM face but loses from his constituency? Because that's the ultimate insult which both the PK factor as well as the NDA would want to inflict on the RJD and on the Mahagathbandhan. Do give in your responses on the social media timeline, and thank you so much for watching once again.